Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Today, really, going to talk about Eid. Eid is coming up. Today is the I think the first day of the last 10 days of Ramadan, which is the most auspicious time in the month of Ramadan, and it is a time where one reflects and does a lot of ibadat, where lots of prayers and makes a lot of du'as. Coming up to Laylatul Qadr is when your Qadr is written, your preordained things in your life are written, and those who are major things stay the same. But this is a time where you ask God for forgiveness. For all the things that you've done, intended or non-intended, people you've hurt, and so on and so forth. You ask, for everything that you desire that is, worldly possible. Nothing outrageous like making me a millionaire or anything like that. You ask for forgiveness for those who have left this world and on the journey to the hereafter. You ask God to help you out of situations, out of calamities. I mean, one of the biggest azab that we are facing obviously is the coronavirus and its impact on the world and everyone around it, and those who have passed away, those who are suffering through it, and those who have impacted because of it as well. Impact in terms of those who are left behind after their loved ones have passed on, and or impacted in terms of the secondary effect of not being able to work, not being able to provide for their family, and so on and so forth. So there is an impact there. So we seek God's forgiveness and God's guidance and His salvation and His help through the things that that we are going through, not just personally with your family, and then the outer circles, and then humanity. We also, pray for others individually. There might be people who are suffering from infertility, from poverty, from illness, or maybe are not on the correct path, or so on and so forth. So it is one of those beautiful nights that you cannot change just your own fate, but the fate of others. And it's not like witchcraft where you just you put a spell on someone and you just pray and pray and pray for that person, so you can, if for example it's someone that you love and you want them in your life, and it's nothing like that. So I remember praying every year to have a child, and you can ask it, you command it to be, and it is. It's like an ayah from Surah Yasin, and I wanted to read that. I should beseech God. Now, if you command it to be, for my child, for my offspring, if you command his existence to be, he will be just like that. And I should beseech. And I think the year that I didn't, I think it was the year that I gave up, that it ain't going to happen. And now it's the year that I fell pregnant with my son, and Alhamdulillah, Allahu Akbar. And so it's a beautiful 10 days, and a lot of men go in itikaf, which is in isolation, in solitude, where they're cut off from the whole world, and they just concentrate really on this act of worship, this really personal and spiritual connection between you and your creator. It's like when the monks go up into the mountains, I guess, and they seek enlightenment. So similar to that, really. So it's a beautiful time, and it is we'll say one night of prayer in Laylatul Qadr is like 1,000 nights, so yeah, we are entering our 10 days. And then it also brings me to the point of, the etiquettes, really, because we are, are in a pandemic, and we are facing something that is completely different. That we as humanity, probably the last time people went through this was probably, the plague of 1965, and then 66 was the Great Fire of London. So 1965, when we had the plague that had happened, and it was from Qadr of Allah, for the Great Fire of London, that for the next year just wiped out most of the plague at that time, and that's from history that I know of. Obviously, you know, when something like this hits you, it does change everything for the best. Because, you know, we all need to look at the silver lining here. The silver lining here is lots. We've talked about, you know, the connection with our family, and, you know, having a slower pace of life and reflection and doing things. And I see these YouTubes and Instagram where actors and actresses and people, celebrities, are doing things, you know, singing now, and the artwork and whatever. And sometimes you see these silly things on TV that you think, really, you know. But anyway, and people are taking to social media as well, like YouTube clips, like what I'm doing and that, just to, why not, you know. But I think the impact also, I think, on the on our planet, if you think about our environment, and, you know, you see these beautiful clips of animals who are reclaiming their environment, where humans have settled they've settled, you know, on those travel routes, or the migration routes, well, not migration routes, but, you know, and you think, well, yeah, actually, migration routes. And you think, yeah, you know, humans, we've got a lot to answer for. You know, we've really have shaken up everything, and nature is reclaiming it back. And I love this line from Jurassic Park, you know, life finds a way. And whatever I see in the world now, I think, you know, yeah, life does find a way. And life is finding a way. I mean, this morning, I saw this migration of locusts fleeting through the sky, and people who've never seen it in their lifetime. I mean, I think it happens every 5-7 years in Pakistan, but they have never seen it. Massive critters, and it's such a beautiful sight to see. And then last week or week before, my nephew sent me, you know, a video of a mass migration of birds. Yeah, it happens. It's migration. You know, for those of us that understand migration and the migratory patterns and seasonal patterns of, you know, wildlife, and that, we know these things. But those back home who don't know this, it's like a huge sign for them. You know, they've never seen it. It's like it's like being in awe. And it's like, you know, which of the favors of your Lord can you deny? Going back to Surah Al-Rahman, of all these things that we can be grateful for. And I think, and this is what I was trying to say in my last one, you know, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, God in the Quran, it talks about, in Surah Al-Rahman, all the things that we should be grateful for, how the mountains are as pegs that are stabilizing the earth. You know, how the atmosphere is like a canopy that keeps us safe. You know, and all these things, our body, our eyes, and our, you know, how our skin, you know, this massive organ that keeps us all together, our blood and all the, you know, our veins and our circulatory system, and look, I can't never say that word, you know, everything together, stopping it from spewing out. One look at it, blood just oozes out. Gosh, which of the favors of your Lord can you deny? And we can't deny that this is like a favor. And it's like that brother who passed away, I can never know his name, but Ali Bana, I think his name was. And he was a flamboyant person, you know, and then he had cancer, and he said, no, this is a gift from Allah. And he spent this time before he goes to meet his maker to set up, you know, a foundation in, I think it was South Africa, to help the poor and needy. And he sold off his watches, his, you know, his fast cars and his Gucci, and he was collecting these materialistic things, you know. And people were so taken from him about all the things that the way he's actually taken his cancer, you know, all right until his last breath, and his messages to the ummah. And so it is a time of reflection, and, you know, which of the favors of your Lord can you deny? We can't deny anything. I've been saying this, I think, throughout. We can't deny anything. We can't deny the beauty in the sky, you know, the movement and the dancing of the branches in the wind, you know, the way that the flowers just open, the blooms open, and, you know, and this how the sepal just crowns the fruit that it's going to bear. La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. You know, take this time, and I think enjoy God's creation, and be grateful, and spend your time in worship and gratitude, and self-reflection. Support humanity.